Hello, everybody, and welcome to the episode of Magic of St. Patrick's Day. I'm gonna give people a couple minutes to get in here before I even start. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and share this out because there are people that are not getting their notifications. Now, I am also going to go live doing something very similar to this on my DLive channel. So if you have to take off for any reason, in a little bit I am going to do another episode, but on DLive instead of on here. Hello, Honey Bubs, Carol, White Light. It is good to see you guys. And like I said, I'm just sharing this out real quick. So how's everybody's St. Patrick's Day going? Has anybody gotten pinched yet? There I am. Yes. Today would not be a good day to be doing that because of the illnesses going around and all that good stuff. Not a good idea to be pinching people. But I know there are still people going to be doing that. By the way, does anybody know where that little tradition come from for St. Patrick's Day? And I know people wonder, who is St. Patrick? What's the story behind today? No one is getting close to each other. Very true. Hi, Oracles and Beyond. It is good to see you. Also, does anybody know about green beer that is usually drunk on St. Patrick's Day? Or the traditional favorite of Irish Americans is corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. Now, well, if you don't know, those are the little topics that I'm going to be covering. Not sure how long this is going to be. Very true, Gaffa. And hello, Tony. It's good to see you. But yes, today is St. Patrick's Day, and I have kept on saying I am going to do episodes of this, and of course, here I am on St. Patrick's Day. I am such a procrastinator. I'm sorry, guys. Was going to do this yesterday, wasn't feeling up to it. Internet was acting up, so yeah. kind of had to postpone. Today it's been doing a lot better, so I figured, hey, why not try? Much love to everybody in the chat. Much love to everybody that is going to be watching this. Now, I have said this, if you guys end up having to leave for any reason, which is perfectly fine. I know everybody's got different things going on, and so I've decided on my DLive channel, I am also doing another episode of this, so if you miss out on this, you can go over to my DLive when I go live and watch it as well. You can watch it live. Am I wearing all green? Yes, I am wearing all green. I know St. Patrick's Day has always been one of my favorite days, only because growing up and in school and stuff, we learn a little bit of about Irish. We hear stories about leprechauns and chasing the rainbow to get to the pot of gold and all that good stuff. As an adult, though, I've started learning that some of these traditions and stories are just that. Sometimes they're stories. And it fascinated me. My grandma always, especially when she knew that we were able to come over, she would have corned beef and have some cabbage cooking when we got there. You know, we were able to have a meal, and it's always been a tradition. At least in one side of the family, because we are more Irish on that side than the other side of the family. And I have been told, I can't say it verbatim, but don't know if this is completely true, but corned beef and cabbage is not initially the traditional thing Irish would eat on St. Patrick's. It would be more like salted pork or bacon and cabbage. And when Irish had immigrated over here to America, because corned beef was a lot cheaper than pork, that's where the tradition changed from the salted pork and cabbage, or bacon and cabbage, to corned beef and cabbage. Wearing my favorite color, blue and gray. See-through green? Nah, not see-through green. Grandpa also had an excuse to head to Mallory's bar. I have a little bit of Irish in me. Yeah, 23. Ah. Very, very cool, guys. So, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today, as far as traditions, are more Irish American traditions, more so than just Irish. But I am going to talk about the origin. Where did St. Patrick's come from? What is the backstory to St. Patrick? And I will say this: Irish do not like it when you spell St. Patrick as a nickname, St. Patty. They don't like that. They consider that turning a male into a female when it comes to names. Everybody in Ireland tends to kind of get up in arms about that. Now, if you say St. Paddy with Paddy, they're okay with that. It has to do with the way Irish uses certain names in a certain way, and that's where that come from. So when you talk about St. Patrick's Day and you say St. Patty, you might get some weird looks from some people that are from Ireland. Gaffa. And so when you say St. Patrick's Day and you're shortening it, say St. Paddy, not Patty. That is something that I picked up real quick in researching for St. Patrick's Day. Now, St. Patrick himself, reason um why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, yes, you are right, Gaffa. Um, Now, St. Patrick is, of course, a saint that lived um, pretty much he lived in Britain. They say around Scottish area. Well-known Christian family, Roman family, something like that. And pretty much at the age of 16, he was taken from um, he was kidnapped basically and turned into a slave in Ireland. Let's see. For 6 years, he worked as a herder in Ireland. Exactly, Gaffa. And so, kind of pretty much being enslaved, he looked to religion. And of course, a lot of times you hear a lot of times I hear things in my dreams, and you get directions from your subconscious, or if you think that if you believe in spirits coming to you to talk to you and give you advice, you know, sometimes that's a way of guiding. Well, he heard in a dream one night this voice, and he followed what the voice was telling him, and it was to escape, and found a way to get back to Great Britain. And there was when he came to Britain, he had another dream, and there was a person that was named Victor. I can't even pronounce it. Victoricus, which gave him a letter that was entitled "The Voice of the Irish." Um, as he read this, he heard. Of course, this is supposed to be in a dream. He heard the voices of Irishmen pleading to him to return to their country and walk among them once again. Um, and during the time he was in Great Britain, he studied priesthood and then went back to Ireland, where he started to preach the gospel, converting many people in Ireland to Christianity. After 40 years of living in poverty, teaching, traveling, and working nonstop, he passed away on March 17th, 461 AD. And actually in the same town where he built his first church. There's so many legends behind St. Patrick. Supposedly he drove out all the snakes in Ireland. Don't know if that's true. One of the biggest things that I could tell you from the stories that I've heard, he used the national flower for Ireland, which is the clover, as a way of a teaching tool about Christianity. Three-leaf clover, people talk about it's because it's one and the same, but it has three different parts. The God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. And as there are more leaves that add onto it, the four-leaf clover, the fourth leaf would be considered the grace of God. And then the fifth and sixth, I can't really remember which was which, but one stood for fame and one stood for fortune. So he used that, and of course, converted many people in Ireland to Christianity. When he died on March 17th, that is the main reason why people celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And of course, now today, in America, is where there was startings of the Irish or St. Patrick's Day parades. There are records that actually show that the first St. Patrick's Day parade that was recorded was held on March 17th, 1601, but it was in the Spanish colony. And then about more than a century later, homesick Irish soldiers would march in Boston in 1737. Then again in New York City, and as it went on, it became a way for Irish to be able to celebrate their culture. So there is that. Now, see if I can find it again. Why do Americans eat corned beef and cabbage? Just kind of moving along. Again, St. Patrick's Day is held on the day that St. Patrick had passed away. It is a way of celebrating the Irish. St. Patrick was a patron to Ireland, and so yes, that's why St. Patrick's Day, we taught everything that you can think of as far as part of the Irish culture is actually in the it's kind of held in one day, at least around the world. It has actually become an international holiday, surprisingly. Okay. Pretty much, like I've said before, the corned beef and cabbage was originally traditionally salted pork or bacon and cabbage, and that is something that they would eat in Ireland. And of course, when they moved from Ireland, immigrated over here to America, you couldn't find salted pork, bacon. Couldn't find, it was a little bit scarce. It was a lot more expensive to have pork than it was to have beef. And they figured out, they kind of gravitated more towards the corned beef because it was similar in texture. The taste was, I would say, a little similar, and corned beef was easier to find. So they done a substitute here in America for corned beef rather than salted pork or bacon. Now, in the 20th century, there were many bars in New York that would offer free dinners of corned beef and cabbage to Irish workers who would go into the bar after building and constructing and whatnot. They would have to buy a few drinks while they're there to get this free dinner, but the main reason why this corned beef and cabbage is a free dinner was they thought it to be of Irish origin. And instead of it being, they thought of it more of a cheap way to give back to the Irish and all that good stuff. So there's that. Now, here's the thing about green beer. And Sweet Crazy, wow, that is an interesting story. And hello, Jen from Eddie and Jen, and Chris the fam. It's good to see y'all. People talk about green beer. For those who are interested in brewery stuff, oh, hello, Miss Redneck Connection. Dreams Place, hello. Oh, thank you so much for the raid. Miss Donna Cantor, Gaffa, Redneck Connection. Thank you guys so much for the raid. I do appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Lauren Jones, thank you for being part of the raid. Hey, Cindy Lopez, thank you for being part of the raid. You guys, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And if you guys haven't checked out Miss Redneck, go check her out. She's got some awesome content. Yes, please smash that like button. Biggest thing about green beer I can tell you, it sounds, for those who are into the brewery type of thing, green beer is actually beer that is not done. It's like too young to consume because it will make you sick if you drink it. So a lot of people deter away from this green beer. I hope you do too, Donna and Miss Redneck. There's Miss Redneck Connection. If anybody that has not checked her out, please go do so. Much love to each and every one of you raiders and everybody in the chat. I appreciate you. And pretty much green beer, of course, beer is usually a yellow tint to it. They put blue food coloring in to make it turn green. Now, if I can get out of the way, there's a pint of green beer. Hi, Anna Mendez. It's good to see you. There's like 2 or 3 different ways of this being an origin and started a tradition of green beer, which is not the worst thing that you think of when you're talking about green beer. It's a new beer. It's not aged the way it should. So if you were to drink green beer, actual green beer, not the St. Patrick's Day green beer, it will make you really sick. Beer drinkers, I think y'all have heard this before. Now, the drink is usually credited to a professor who was a doctor, made green beer for his clubhouse in New York. Um, and that started about 1914. And same to you, Cindy. Much love to you. In 1910, there was um, there was an article. One of the first bars served this beer to patriotic Irishmen and anybody who wanted to drink green brew. And the way they worded it was really, really interesting. Now, it didn't really start getting into mainstream until about the 1950s. Um, so, yeah, that pretty much, green beer came from America. Um, in a lot of ways to salute to Irish culture. Um, but yeah, there's a lot more to that part of the story. I don't want to really get into too much. But yeah, beers and blue food coloring. Just don't drink too much of that. Hi, Dave Larson. It's good to see you. Thank you for being part of the Redneck Raid. Carrie Ann, hello. And you guys, you know, there's that. Now, there's another thing that I have been looking for, and you guys, it's a lot harder than you think to try to find the origin of why you get pinched on St. Patrick's Day. Pretty much nobody knows exactly where the story originated from, and specifically what the actual story is to the reason why we pinch people if they don't wear green. And of course, this also started in America. They believe it started among Irish immigrants. They think it probably started in the early 1700s, and um, the way this story is told is that St. Patrick's revelers more or less being people that are celebrating St. Patrick's Day, thought wearing green made one invisible to leprechauns. We all know what leprechauns are. They could be little mischievous fairy-like creatures who can brighten your day or make your day pretty bad. Depending on your luck with them. Now, they believed that leprechauns would actually come and pinch the people that were not wearing green. If you were wearing green, you were considered invisible to leprechauns. And also, it was a good way to remind them, hey, don't forget about the Irish American culture or the Irish culture. A lot of people around, around especially March 17th, tend to forget about St. Patrick's Day and to remember different little things and traditions for the Irish. But that is pretty much, everything in a nutshell. And so it's very interesting to be a descendant of Irish, to look at some of these traditions and be like, oh, that's cool. You know, and a lot of it is Irish American. And like, to this day, I'm pretty sure that throughout the world, there are celebrations using the same traditions that has been picked up from America or in Ireland. Yes, need to find that pot of gold. Leprechaun, where you at? And I'm not sure why I went blurry, but that's okay. But I do want to thank you guys for being here. That pretty much wrapped up my Magic of St. Patrick's Day. I am going to keep this up on my YouTube channel for people to enjoy that were not able to come. Also, I am going to be live on my DLive channel here in just shortly. So if you haven't followed me there, please click that link and hit that follow button so y'all can get notified. And hello, Void Man. It is good to see you. I will be going live here just very shortly to do another Magic of St. Patrick's Day, but on my DLive channel. Now, I am planning on doing Easter. That's a big holiday for a lot of different people, and it means so much to different people, and I will try to explain as much as I can and why. Thank you, Void Man. I do appreciate that. And so, look at the Irish to you guys. I hope everybody has a very good St. Patty Day. And yes, I am going to be going live here in just a few minutes on my DLive channel to do the same, almost the same thing, not quite. So you guys, if y'all caught parts of this and you wanted to hear the whole thing and wanted to catch it live, you can go over there, because I will be there shortly. Or you can catch the replay here on YouTube. I don't normally take down any videos unless it's something that has offended somebody in such a way they ask me to take it down. Chris the fam, take care, peace. And much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. And Jen, hello, and I'm fixing to leave. I am going to go over to DLive though. But much love to everybody here. And yeah, don't be pinching anybody today of all days when things are getting weird about germs. Don't do it unless you know for a fact. And even then, I wouldn't do it. But much love to you guys. Take care. And you guys just remember, you never know what's out there till you spread your wings and fly.